Namaste and good afternoon to all of you present here on the occasion of the Vaishakha Paurnami and the Buddha Jayanthi celebrations of our Vivekananda study circle today. We also have with us a few distinguished faculty members from the Andhra University and the King George Medical College. My sincere thanks to all the guests for your esteemed presence and good wishes to the study circle members present here. It is heartening to note that more than 50% of these young men are your own students. Today is the Vaishakha Paurnami. Vaishakha Paurnami is not only a day to mark the birthday festivity of Gautama Buddha, but is also an occasion to evoke his spiritual blessings for all of us here and for the entire humanity the world over. The story of Buddha is very captivating. It was one of the full moon days of the May, centuries before the birth of Christ. And the story tells us that the then queen of Kapilavastu, Mahamaya by name, was on the way to her father's kingdom, carrying a child in her womb. She was passing through a pleasure grove of sal or teak trees called the Lumbini Gardens or the Lumbini Grove. Attracted by the branch of flowers, Mahamaya was trying to reach out to one of the tall branches of a tree when she succumbed to her labor pains. It is said that while standing up and keeping hold of the sal tree's branch with her hand, her delivery took place. The newborn was a boy who was to become Gautama Buddha, the founder of a new religion, the Buddhism. Siddhartha's father, Shuddhodana, was a king of Ikshvaka dynasty, the then ruler of Kapilavastu. It is in memory of this advent of Siddhartha Gautama that his followers and admirers celebrate the day as Buddha Jayanthi. I am here only to brief you how the wonderful life of that child Gautama emerged as one of the greatest spiritual personalities, the all-charming Buddha. There are two versions about the birth year of Gautama Buddha. According to the testified inscriptions on the pillar erected by the famous Mauryan emperor Ashoka in 249 BC, the Buddha was born in 623 BC. According to other historical evidence, he is said to have been born in the year 563 BC. Buddha's birthday, the Vaishakha Paurnami, is considered as a thrice blessed day because it was on this full moon that three important events related to Gautama Buddha took place. Firstly, as we saw, it is the day of his birth. Secondly, it's the day of Siddhartha's enlightenment. And thirdly, it was the day of Buddha's Mahaparinirvana. In relation to the reminiscences of Buddha's past birth, Buddhists also consider this day as a fourth blessed day, called the day of aspiration. We saw that the boy Siddhartha was born in Lumbini. Lumbini is a place in the present day of Nepal. He was to be the successor of King Shuddhodana's throne. We are informed that as a prince, Siddhartha lived a very comfortable childhood. But as he was more inclined towards spirituality, his princely family took extra care of him without exposure or involvement with any other outwardly attractions. But many incidents in his childhood life suggest that Siddhartha is also his immediate surroundings were actually aware of his spiritual inclinations and the divine support to that end. The story of Siddhartha Gautama reveals that he grew up as a charming young man and he, in due course, was married to a princess, Yashodhara by name. Siddhartha also became the father of a son, Ananda. The life of Buddha, as told in the Buddhistic tradition, is filled with miracles. I'm not going into those details. But it seems that after begetting a child, Siddhartha became increasingly inclined towards spirituality than that of leading a princely life. His world, which looked perfect till that time, became indrawn to the otherworldly after he turned 25. One day, all of a sudden, the so very luxurious princely life became meaningless to him. As a child, he was brought up by his princely family, away and secluded from the world outside. All these years, he had almost no chance to know or understand anything about the external world. But after his 25th birthday, for the first time, he chanced to go out and see the world outside the palace all for himself. For him, that was a remarkable experience. Gautama then came across a few sights in the streets which he had never encountered in his life till that point of time. It is said that for the first time he encountered an old person walking on the street with the help of a stick. Then he happened to see a sick and emaciated man with a painful face. Thirdly, Siddhartha saw 4 persons carrying a lifeless dead man surrounded by a few others. And fourthly, he came across an ascetic with an uncared life, living on whatever came to him by chance. Now, all these 4 sides of the life outside his palace were so vivid that for the first time Siddhartha felt shaken in his conscience. The painful world of the aged, of the sick, and of the dead jolted him into reality. Watching and witnessing those harsh truths of life, Siddhartha was found visibly moved and distressed. That focal point had made him instantaneously renounce all that he had in his life and embrace a life of eternal peace and blessedness. Departing secretly from the palace and the kingdom of his father at 29, Siddhartha became a devout aspirant of austerity. Seated beneath one of the Bodhi trees, he encountered and was even tempted by the desire and the death of the delusive world. But as remaining immovable in introversion, Siddhartha experienced at last what is known as the Great Awakening. From the threshold of that absolute enlightenment, he never returned thereafter. Absorbed in that vast experience, he remained beneath that Bodhi tree, unmoved and untouched for 7 days and 7 nights. He has ever since been known as the awakened one, the Buddha. He moved from one tree to another 7 times, and thus completing 49 days. At last, he descended with prayers and compassion, which endeared him as the Buddha, to become not only the teacher of the mankind, but a savior of the world itself. Teaching what he revealed as the middle path, Buddha moved uncaring of himself. Disciples thronged, the order assumed shape, and the tradition of a Buddhistic school thus came into existence. The speciality of the Buddhistic doctrine had been and is meant only for those who are prepared to listen to it. It was never intended to interfere with the life and habits of the multitudes or the course of civilization. Buddha thus became a symbol of something beyond what can be said and taught. In the whole of Buddhistic literature, we cannot trace a single word with unquestionable authority to Gautama Buddha. Yet we can glimpse the enlightening shade of Buddha all over in them. Following the procedure of a physician, Buddha seems to make just 4 statements that concerns the cause of the entire humanity. The Buddhists refer to them as the fourfold noble truths, which constitute the heart and kernel of Buddha's teaching. The first noble truth is all life is sorrowful. By this, Buddha reveals that the whole of the human race is spiritually unhealthy. The symptom being that we carry on our shoulders an undue weight of sorrow, and the disease thereof is endemic. The second noble truth is the cause of suffering is that of the ignorant craving, Krishna. We imagine that our ideas about things represent their ultimate reality, but the fact is they are rooted in our own consciousness and attitudes. The next noble truth is the suppression of suffering can be achieved. The suppression of suffering can be achieved. We have the capacity to suppress our sufferings. And the fourth noble truth is the way is the noble eightfold path. The way beyond suffering is the noble eightfold path that has been given to us by Buddha. And those eightfold paths are right view, right aspiration, right speech, right conduct, right means of livelihood, right endeavor, right mindfulness, and right contemplation. They are the eightfold paths. These are the things that Buddha want to develop for enlightenment. All related austerity and meditations are secondary practices to achieve these ends. Buddha passed away at the age of 80 at the Kushinagar of present Uttar Pradesh state of India. It's a place stated in the Pali Buddhistic scriptures as his Maha Parinibbana. Buddha's life and teachings are of all-time importance to the humanity. We shall look into them sometime in the near future. My wishes to all here a great Vaishaka Purnima and a great celebration of the Buddha Jayanthi. Thank you.